Get ready for some hard-hitting podcast action as you're tuned in to the Slam Session. What's up, everybody, and welcome to another exciting edition of the Slam Sessions right here on the Slam Sessions Podcast Network. Now, as you know, if you want to follow anything Slam Sessions related, you can follow us on Facebook. It's facebook.com/the Slam Sessions Podcast Network. And, of course, you can always go to Twitter, which is on Twitter, it's at the Slam Sessions. Well, as you guys can see, I'm back. It's been a long time. It's been a pretty decent sized layoff, but fortunately for everybody, I'm back. Unfortunately, if you guys don't know, the reason for the sabbatical was the fact that unfortunately my dog had gotten sick, and unfortunately he passed away about a month ago. That's been the reason why I haven't been here, but I can't let things that I can't control stop me forever, so I'm back. There's been a lot. A month is come and gone since I've done this show. I know that if you guys follow me on Facebook, it's facebook.com/the Slam Sessions Podcast Network. You would have seen that I've actually updated a couple of different videos going live on Facebook to kind of keep the podcast rolling even in my absence. I tried to do as much as I possibly could while I was home. It's a little bit harder to do that, but here I am back in the studio, back where I belong to be, and the Slam Sessions Podcast is back. So, where to start, I guess, is Survivor Series. The WWE is putting on one of my favorite pay-per-views of all time, the Survivor Series, coming up here in November, and I'm really actually excited for it. For the first time in a really long time, they actually made me care about the main event of a Survivor Series pay-per-view. And now, when I say main event, I mean the 5-on-5 team versus team, SmackDown versus Raw match. So far, there's been a couple of people who've been confirmed for the matches. Nobody yet, except for Kurt Angle on Monday Night Raw. So there's been a lot of stuff that's been going on with Kurt Angle. He came back, had an excellent match at TLC. I gave you guys a TLC review if you want to go back and take a look at that. I watched that pay-per-view as it happens. I gave you guys a review of it either right afterwards or maybe even the next day. Depends upon what. I don't remember. It's been a while. But I was impressed to see Kurt Angle back. I don't think he did anything too crazy in the ring, but now even in a big tag team match, he doesn't have chairs and weapons to kind of rely on, and he doesn't have like the major crux of the match to sit out unless he gets eliminated early, which I don't see happening. So, this is big news. Kurt Angle comes back and he gets back in the ring. And, we finally get to see Kurt Angle, wrestle again. The last time he was in a fight, this time he's going to wrestle. He's going to probably be in his old school Kurt Angle gear, and he's going to, look ready and ready to go. And I can't wait to see Kurt back in the ring, wrestling again, taking people down, suplexing people all over the place. That main event match is going to be pretty big. I love the invasion. Shane McMahon coming in, having everybody being, beaten up on Monday Night Raw. And, I know a lot of people were like, oh, I can't believe that Raw didn't retaliate the next night. And to a point, I kind of agree. To an extent, you would think that Raw would really heavily retaliate the next night. But I think that they're going to save that for the night before, the quote-unquote night before the pay-per-view, the Tuesday before the pay-per-view, to have Raw maybe come in and kind of, really go crazy and invade SmackDown. I think it's kind of the best possible way to do everything, specifically because, you get to a point where, it's just, if it happens then and it's escalated so high, so quickly, so soon, we're going to get to a point where we're going to be like, well, how do we up it next? The only thing I can think of is maybe, Raw retaliates a little bit, in a big way one night, and then we get a huge blowout where it's just, Raw versus SmackDown going off the air, just beating the living crap out of each other. I can see maybe that, but I think that Raw's retaliation should be something to watch. I think a lot of people are sitting there waiting for Monday Night Raw to come back and to take a piece of of SmackDown's ass. I like Shane McMahon. I love this his interaction with Kurt Angle. I love the Under Siege thing. I think they're doing a really good job with this. But on the other end, where I don't think they're doing a really good job, Brock Lesnar versus Jinder Mahal. This does not benefit anybody at all. If you really wanted to make Jinder look strong as your champion, putting him up against Brock Lesnar where he's going to get beaten to a pulp is not the greatest way to make your champion look strong. There's no way you can say that Jinder Mahal is more of a precious commodity than Brock Lesnar. Even if Lesnar does desire to go back to the UFC full-time, doesn't sign with WWE after this is his last WWE run, there's no reason why you don't save that big blowout, the guy who beats him and takes that title off of him and beats the crap crap out of him and gets a big win and shows that he's strong against him, will probably be Roman Reigns. I know a lot of people probably aren't happy about that, but I think it's the right choice. If you don't have that happen, in that big last match, you're just showing that, here's a guy, Brock Lesnar, who's got some chinks in his armor, and you don't want to show kinks in Brock Lesnar's armor, not just yet. I think Jinder is not going to benefit from this at all. I think he's going to get beat up. I think it's just going to be one of those first pay-per-view losses since he's won the championship. That's actually going to make him look weak, and it's going to make him look, it's going to make him look like he's not championship material, which a lot of people already think that he's not, as it is. A lot of people are saying that they failed to take the belt off of him and give it to Nakamura. I don't think so. I think it was too early for Nakamura. I think that SmackDown needs a heel champion going into WrestleMania. And I know we're nowhere near WrestleMania, but we need a really good heel to hold a championship for a while. My pick is Kevin Owens. I think that they should have a triple threat match between Mahal, Owens, and Styles. Have Owens win the championship. Run SmackDown again for a little while. Give him something big to do at WrestleMania that isn't maybe a world championship match. And I know, or give him the world title match. He deserves it. He ran Raw for a little while, then got taken out of the world title match undeservedly when Lesnar faced Goldberg for the championship at WrestleMania. But, even if you put Kevin Owens in a main event spot, there's not a lot you can really go on. He's already faced Nakamura in singles matches. He's already faced Styles in singles matches. And this is the big problem I have with the superstar shakeup, because there isn't sometimes the rosters are stretched too thin to where you can't have a WrestleMania-sized matchup between anybody except for AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura, which is everybody is clamoring for, and I don't blame them. I mean, if you're going to do a show and you're going to do a big main event WrestleMania blow-off, you're going to want the match that everybody wants to see. And I can't even argue with the fact that Nakamura versus Styles would be electric. We've seen it already. If you're New Japan Pro Wrestling fans, if you haven't, if you can figure out a way to watch that match, because AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura was absolutely unbelievable. The other thing that I think that SmackDown needs is they just need a shot in the arm, and I really don't see a lot of these matches, these one-on-one matches, or two-on-two matches. If you want to get technical with these championships, these people who are holding these championships going one-on-one with each other. I don't see many ways where this goes SmackDown's way. I don't think Natalya beats Alexa. I think Alexa's on fire. I think you need to keep that going. I think Natalya's the weaker of the two champions. And don't get me wrong, I was ecstatic when Natty won the belt. I love Natty's in-ring work. It's just that she's been there for a while, and she should be there to help build other people. And this is a way to put over a girl like Alexa Bliss, where, it shows that Alexa could be, one of the forefront of the WWE's women for a very long time. You sit there and you look at some of these people that are, on Raw and SmackDown, and you look at NXT, and there's a lot of people, a lot of women that, maybe deserve a main roster spot that haven't been signed from the Mae Young Classic, which was phenomenal, by the way. But, these girls should really be getting these opportunities and these shots, and we're seeing like a very strong, just a strong group of women right now who are just really being the basis and the backbones of the women's division. Not that it's a bad thing. They influx a lot of talent in one shot over from NXT. Asuka's there now. That should be a big shot in the arm for the Raw division. But I think that if you want Alexa to really to show that she's really like this big champ, you need to put her over as much as possible, because nobody's going to expect Alexa to beat Asuka. We know that championship's going to wind up going to Asuka, and if you want Alexa to make it seem like she's a strong champion and go in there as the champion and go in there and look like she can defeat Asuka, Alexa needs this match. Another thing that, I think a lot of people have been talking about was the whole, and not that a lot of people are talking about, but a lot of people are doing right now, and I think that, this is something that hurts the women's division sometimes. Alexa is a great heel, but to a point doesn't work as a heel because she's actually, and I know this is going to sound really messed up and sexist of me or whatever, but she's too attractive to be a heel. She is like the wet dream of every internet wrestling fan. You can see when she goes to live shows, she gets heel heat for a little bit, but guys want to cheer her because she comes out and she's really attractive, and guys are like, no, I don't want to see, the girl of my dreams lose the championship. That's a bit, and I get it to a point. Look, I will be the first person to say here on this show, I had the biggest crush on Emma. Now she's gone. It hurts. I am upset about it. I really wish that the WWE would have held on to her. I think she's a great talent. I think she put on great matches. I think she was doing a great job, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, she's gone. That really sucked. But to a point, I understood that Emma was a heel. And if Emma would have, had, let's just say, the championship, she was going up against Sasha. Yeah, the right thing to do is to, want Sasha to win that match, want Sasha, the babyface, to go over. And I know that, this is still, no matter what, women or women, guys are predominantly WWE fans. They're going to cheer Alexa Bliss because everybody thinks she's cute and she has a nice butt and, she's really attractive. I get it. I understand it. I see it. I'm not blind. I can't, I'm not going to sit here and say she's not attractive because she is. But I think that's a big focus and a big pull on, Alexa's ability to get over as a heel. Now, but I do have to say, in spite of that, I think she's done a great job as a heel, putting everybody in their place, making it seem like she's too good for all the fans. All that kind of stuff is really good. She's doing a great job as a heel. She's doing a great job in the women's division. She's really the preeminent, WWE woman right now. I don't think there's anybody on either roster who comes before Alexa Bliss. I think she's better than everybody except maybe for Asuka. But I think Alexa needs this match more. We have the Usos taking on, Rollins and Ambrose, and you're not going to reunite the Shield and have them lose to the Usos. I know that maybe Roman isn't going to, Roman's not going to be in that match, whatever. They're still the Shield. They're coming out the Shield music. They're in Shield gear. They're not stopping with it. They are the Shield. It's not Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, coming out separately. It's it's Ambrose and Rollins as the Shield, being introduced as the Shield, coming out the Shield theme music. It was the biggest reunion in WWE for a really long time. Unfortunately, viral infections have, screwed things over and messed up plans. We've already seen that Bo Dallas, who was suffering from that, has come back. So hopefully that means that Roman isn't too far behind him. There's a lot of stuff that can be said about the Shield versus the Usos being the show stealer of the night. It's going to be an incredible match. Dean Ambrose looks like he's picked up his in-ring work, and he seems like he's got that bite and fight back since he's really the Shield is reunited. And I really like the way Dean Ambrose has progressed because we know that for a while it seems like he fell off when he became champion. And I think that Ambrose has been doing a really good job being back in a tag team, and I think that this is a really big deal for Ambrose because he can come out of this, and if he keep that steam and that momentum, maybe he'll be put back at the top of the card one more time. I do think this could be the show stealer of the night. The Usos, though, have been embroiled in that feud with the New Day. I know there's been new tag teams have come in, and they're getting shots and stuff like that, and I understand that. That's all well and good, but you really know that the New Day and the Usos are the preeminent tag teams on SmackDown. The New Day will get those championships back. It looks like WWE is finally starting to realize that they need to put the championships on the New Day. And they want to make them break the record for the most tag team title reigns. I mean, that's going to be a lot. Edge and Christian have a lot of title reigns. I get they want to make the New Day one of the bigger tag teams, but I think that detracts from the fact that you have three guys who could be breakout singles stars, and they're not being given that opportunity because they're being kept together as a tag team. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't want them to break up just yet, but I think that, like the Shield, they have the opportunity to go out and, to kind of, make one last big grasp at being main eventers. I know Kofi's, been on the cusp at times. I think Kofi deserves to be up there too. But hey, you know what? Maybe his time has passed. We've seen a guy like Dolph Ziggler who looks like he's had his time pass. He's really putting over a lot of other guys. Maybe he has a foot out the door. So, we'll see what happens as it boils down. But this should be one of the better matches. I'm really interested in The Miz versus Baron Corbin. I think both of them did a really good job. Miz, obviously, a better job at going on social media and burning each other. I think The Miz is the best talker in the WWE today, bar none, hands down, nobody better. The Miz is absolutely the best on the mic. He's been killing it for the past couple of years. He's really deserves to be in a higher spot. But Baron Corbin has been, a non-dominant United States champion. As The Miz said, he's working the U.S. title is working overtime to make Baron Corbin relevant. And The Miz has been working overtime to make the Intercontinental Championship relevant. And I believe it. The Miz is killing it. What I don't like is the fact that we have, we see an opportunity for Baron Corbin to get a big win here. And if it comes at the behest of The Miz, I think that kind of hurts because I think The Miz deserves to be in the top tier, upper echelon, main event status, He main evented the last pay-per-view at TLC. I think he deserves to be a single star back in the main event. He's better on the mic than everybody else. He's big money. Miz is money. He prints money. He's doing a great job as a heel, and I think the WWE is wasting him if they're going to be keeping him as an Intercontinental Championship contender for a really long time. And finally, we can talk about Brock versus Mahal again. I just don't foresee this being a night where SmackDown looks well. I think that Ambrose and Rollins need the win. I think Corbin needs the win, but I think Miz might even need it more. I think that, Alexa needs the win, and I don't see, Mahal needs the win, but you don't put Mahal over Lesnar. So, what does that mean? Does Raw sweep the matches and then SmackDown wins the 5-on-5 and think that, it's a good thing? There's a lot of stuff that have been going wrong when it comes to the booking in WWE, and that I'm not the biggest fan of the way WWE is being booked right now. I don't hate it as much as a lot of other people, but I'm not the biggest fan. I love the Shield reunion. I love Angle getting back into the ring. I love a lot of things that WWE has done, but by that same point, I'm just getting to a point where I think that they really need to start revamping the Monday Night Raw. They really need to start making it more interesting, more must-see, less matches that don't mean anything, more matches that mean something. I'm appreciative of seeing, Jason Jordan and Elias being in a feud, because at least they're in a feud, and week to week we get the fact that that's why they're wrestling each other. I'm just sick and tired of just seeing two guys come out and go, oh, so these guys are going to have a match. Okay. What did Rollins? Rollins at least wrestling Kane last week was, a little bit of a retaliation from him being chokeslammed, the week before he was in, the TLC match. But why did Balor wrestle Kane the week before? I get you wanted to put Kane over somebody. If you're going to put him in a feud with Balor, we saw him attack him on the stage. I get that kind of stuff, but it just doesn't make sense. I need less matches for no reason. They need to start, making these things, making it more prevalent that when two tag teams wrestle each other, it's because it means something. There's something on the line. This is a great opportunity for one of these two tag teams to get in to get ahead and, face Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose for the tag titles. That's what I want to hear more than anything else. And this is what I think the WWE is missing. But hopefully, we get over that and we see what happens, and then we'll take it from there. But I think the WWE really needs to revamp a lot of their booking. I'm hyped for Survivor Series. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm hyped for it. I love the classic Survivor Series matches, the 5-on-5 matches. I'm a really big fan of those. I'm a really big proponent in keeping tradition alive, and those are some of my favorite matches. I think I've said this 100 times on this podcast. I'm a huge fan of the Survivor Series, and I'm a huge fan of Royal Rumble. I think they're interesting matches. I think it's a good idea that we get a couple of different guys in the ring who we don't get to see wrestle each other, every week anymore, because they're on different brands. I like the brand split SmackDown versus Raw style. It's a really big opportunity for the WWE to, show some people, wrestling each other who you don't get to see wrestle each other all the time. And it could lead to some interesting stories leading into WrestleMania. With that being said, that's pretty much it for what I have for you this week for the Slam Sessions. Please, once again, social media, follow me again. It's, the Slam Sessions Podcast and Facebook.com/the Slam Sessions Podcast Network. At the Slam Sessions, you can get everything from the Geek Guy podcast to the newly reinstated Opening Whistle podcast that I'll be recording. This is being recorded on a Thursday night. I'll be recording the Opening Whistle with Avi Schiffman a little bit later on tonight. I know a lot of people have been missing the fact that I haven't done that podcast throughout the first 9 weeks of the NFL season, but it's been hard for myself and Avi to get on the same page. And unfortunately for me, even other than my dog, personally and professionally, I've been dealing with a lot of stuff that's been going on in my life, and it's been a little bit difficult for me to get out and come down here and start doing these shows. Trying to figure out ways where maybe I can do these on my own without having to come out to where I record them. But that's another thing here or there. It's a lot of money, and that's the professional part of my problem. That's been helping. Hey, look, I'm a student. I'm paying off 2 student loans right now. I know a lot of people out there can understand how that feels. And I'm considering going back to get a master's. So, there's a lot going on in my life, and but I don't want to stop doing these. I love these. The Geek Guy podcast will be back soon. If you didn't watch, go back and watch the interview I did with Andre Joseph on the Geek Guy podcast. I think it was a really good interview. And stay tuned for the Thor, especially on Facebook Live. There'll be a Thor review after the movie comes out, and Tom and I will be in studio one day after the movie Thor premieres to give us a big spoiler-filled episode of the the Geek Guy podcast on the Thor Ragnarok movie. So that's an update for everything that's going on. Please, guys, follow me. Please, like the page. Please, keep your notifications on so you can see me when I go live. Please watch. Please listen. This is my favorite thing really to do in the world. There's a lot of big things I have going on outside of doing the podcast that I'm trying to get going, but I love coming here. I love doing these shows for you, and I hope you guys love listening to them. So with that being said, this is wait. You got to wait all the way to the end to get this. The match of the week. I haven't done this in forever. Every week I like to give you guys a match to go watch on the WWE Network, and this week won't be any different. My pick for the match of the week is the inaugural Survivor Series main event. Go on to WWE Network, type in Survivor Series, go to the first ever main event. It was a big 5-on-5 match where it was the first time in a long time we saw that the immortal Hulk Hogan struggled in a match and wasn't a sole survivor at the first ever Survivor Series, which I think was big news. It was really well booked. I might have spoiled a little bit of the match for you, but it's worth watching. The 5-on-5 traditional Survivor Series matches were great. The teams on both sides were great. They look a little bit weird. I mean, you hear guys like, Ken Patera and the Natural Butch Reed and Bam Bam Bigelow, Andre the Giant, King Kong Bundy, Rick Rude, guys like that. You think, that's the main event, but it really was a really good main event. It's a lot of fun to watch. Go back, take a look at it. It's a really great match. It's a really fun Survivor Series. Do yourselves a favor and brush up on some of the other Survivor Series things. I think that if I do get to come down here next week and do the show again, it's probably going to be another big Survivor Series match that's going to be one of my personal favorites. If you aren't big into the old school stuff, go back to the Survivor Series with the Authority, the Authority versus the Monday Night Raw locker room. Well, actually, it wasn't Raw at that time. There wasn't a brand split, so against the WWE locker room. And take a look at that. That was a really good match too. Really showcased Dolph Ziggler looking really strong at the end of it, which is a very rare thing. And I'm a big Ziggler fan, so take a look at that one just in case the big one doesn't tickle your fancy. But for that, that's the end of this show. And I'm Albert Albanese, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for listening to the Slam Sessions. Find us on Twitter @The Slam Sessions. We'll see you next time.